today's video I'm going to show you how to harvest hops, and I'm also going to show you my drying process. I try not to use a lot of fancy equipment for that, and we'll lightly touch upon some of the health properties of hops, but I'm assuming that you're aware of them since you're already here watching this video. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and head out to my garden. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where I show you all the tips and tricks you need to have a green thumb, even if you weren't born with one.
The hops flowers are ready for picking, and I did the bulk of my picking earlier. Today is not the best day for me to be doing this because it's actually kind of rainy. So working on like a dry morning is going to be a lot better for you. But you can see these hops flowers, aren't they gorgeous? And basically all you do to pick them, and if you get like a leaf, that's okay, you can take it off. But all I do is like kind of pinch it off with my fingernail like that. And it comes off pretty easily. You could also use a pair of garden shears if you want, but I just think this is easier. So I'm going to discard those green leaves, and like I said, all we really want are the flowers. And we can tell they're ready for picking because, do you see these golden grains here? Try to focus in on that. These golden grains are what contain the lupulin. And this is the active ingredient that we're looking for when we're talking about its pain relieving properties, its sleep inducing properties, its anxiety reducing, anxiety reducing properties. So that is what we're looking for. And you can tell the texture of it. Obviously I'm not going to dry this one, but the texture of it, the petals of the flower have largely dried out, but you still have this golden pollen dust inside, and that's really what we're looking for. That's the sign of a mature flower. Now I also wanted to show you an example of a flower that's not ready yet. So notice the difference in this one. Do you see how the petals are still very tight? It's still clustered tightly together, and I really have to kind of pry them open in order to get them open. You do see the golden pollen grain, but it's not fluffy, as I would call it, as the other flower. So this one's not quite ready yet. It hasn't opened up quite enough. Here's one that's very past its prime. Can you tell? All brown, completely dried out. That has dried, great for decorations, but it is way past its use as far as medicinal use.
I've gone ahead and picked some hops for you. I have harvested most of my hops at this point, so this is mostly for demonstration, but I'm going to show you now how I dry them without a dehydrator or any other equipment. Truly, I think the best way, if you don't have those things, is a window screen. And I have one set up, and you can kind of see it's over like this metal metro rack that gets good air circulation. I would not put it over something that is a solid surface, so that way air can like get up through there and dry all the hops around. So once you have your hops harvested, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump them onto the window screen. And it doesn't even have to be an extra window screen. If you're willing to sacrifice a window screen temporarily so you can dry your herbs, you can do that. So no need to necessarily have an extra one. I just happen to have a bunch of older ones. So yeah, just spread them out in a even layer. Make sure that they're not like stacked on top of one another in like a big pile, because it's just, even though they're fluffy and they still will probably dry out, it's just going to take you longer. So just make sure that you have the room to spread them out so they're not really touching one another, and just let them dry there. And this can take anywhere from a couple days to longer. Like I mentioned, it's been taking me a little bit longer, but they're gonna wait here. And I'm also going to make sure that they're not in direct sunlight, because this will help to preserve some of the properties of the hops. So that's something to be aware of as well. Make sure that it's not in direct sunlight. These are my hops drying on my window screen, and they're not quite ready yet because you can tell when you can take one, and they say when you can snap it and the middle core just kind of breaks off and snaps. But you can see I can still kind of bend these, and we've had really humid weather lately, like a lot of rain, so it's probably going to take a while. So I'm going to keep an eye on these, kind of keep turning them every so often when I remember,
and come back and keep checking on them.
Okay, everyone, it is a few days later. Again, we've had still really humid weather, so it hasn't been raining quite as much, but there's still a lot of moisture in the air. But I am checking on the hops now again because I want to see, if you hear my dog in the background, that's what the jingling is. But I just wanted to see if they are ready, and I do believe that they are. So let's take a look at one. So it's feeling good. It feels very dry, very papery, and now I'm just going to, yeah, you see how I can just like snap that? Let me do it again with another one. Try to do this one-handed because I'm filming, but yeah, it just kind of snaps right in half. And that's what you're looking for, and that is a good sign that you have enough of the moisture evaporated out so that when you go to store these, they're not going to be moldy, they're not going to be mildewy, because they're not going to store properly, and then you won't be able to use them. Now that I'm happy that my hops are sufficiently dry, I'm going to store these in a clean glass jar. So just make sure it's washed really well. Again, want to avoid the mold problem. And just go ahead and plop them in. And they look so pretty, don't they? And this is perfect timing because my parents are coming soon, and my dad was saying he's eager to try hops, so I can't wait for him to be able to try the ones that I actually grew. I put a lid on my jar, and I'm just going to store this in a cool, dark place, not here. I have a cabinet that doesn't receive any sunlight, and this way they will store for a very long time. Well, I hope today's video helped you learn how to harvest your hops, and if you are liking these videos, feel free to give them a like. Also, feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. I would love to see you all back here soon.